The most important machine on Earth is built by one company in one Dutch town, and for 20 years, China has spent billions trying to copy it. They bought the suppliers, they poached the engineers, they even stole the blueprints. Nothing worked, because the machine was never the hard part, the light was. Now a team of Chinese physicists has published a way to make that light without ASML at all. And for the first time, the $670 billion company that controls every advanced chip on the planet is facing the one threat it was never built to survive. Walk inside any semiconductor fab and you'll find it, a machine the size of a bus, costing more than a commercial airliner. That machine is real. But the machine is the easy part. The thing nobody else on Earth can reliably produce is the light it makes. Now here is the part that sounds impossible. Inside this machine, a droplet of molten tin, 25 micrometers wide, falls at 70 meters per second. 2 laser pulses hit it. The first flattens the droplet. The second vaporizes it in an instant into plasma at 200,000 degrees Celsius. That plasma flashes out light at 13.5 nanometers, and it does this 50,000 times per second. And the mirrors that aim this light are so smooth that if one were the size of Germany, the biggest imperfection would be the height of a single hair. This took 30 years and $10 billion, and respected scientists said it was impossible. This is not a competition. This is an industrial singularity. There is no second supplier, anywhere. This light is so hard to make that for 30 years, not one second supplier has ever existed. And the reason China still can't make it, even with the stolen plans, is where this gets dangerous. But here's where the system becomes interesting. ASML doesn't even build it all alone. The lasers come from Trumpf in Germany. The mirrors come from Zeiss, also in Germany. The plasma source comes from Cymer in California, a company ASML acquired. What ASML owns is the integration, the ability to make all these impossible parts work together, 50,000 times per second, without failing. And here's the parallel worth sitting with. No matter which chip you buy, every trail ends at the same single machine. A standard machine costs upward of $200 million. The newest generation, $380 million each. There is no other door. That drove the company's market value to $670 billion, a European record. Washington built its entire strategy on one assumption, that this light is uncopyable. So it guarded one door. But while Washington was guarding that door, a team in Beijing was quietly cutting a new one through the wall. Stay with me, because what happened next is the part almost every news story gets wrong. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to the moment Washington realized what it was sitting on. The entire American and Dutch strategy toward China rests on one assumption, that this light is so hard to make, no one can work around it. Block the machine and you block the chips. It is the most important choke point in modern history, bigger than Hormuz. Most of the courage says China cloned ASML. That's wrong. Copying that plasma source part for part would take years China doesn't want to spend. So the researchers did something far more interesting. They went after the light itself, using completely different physics. SSMB, a storage ring. Electrons accelerated to near light speed, microbunching. A continuous stream of EUV light instead of 50,000 separate explosions. No tin, no debris, no downtime. In the Chinese press, they call it the lithographic cannon. Export controls were guarding one door while somebody quietly cuts a new one through the wall 100 meters away. Now before you get carried away when I promised you honesty, that 2021 experiment proved the mechanism. It did not build a working chip factory. The gap between those two things is enormous, because there is a yield gap. Beautiful light in a lab is not the same as millions of flawless chips. Money cannot shortcut that. And remember, ASML's own journey from impossible to a production machine took 30 years, but none of that lets ASML relax, because it proved something almost as dangerous as a working machine. It proved the monopoly was never permanent. If you enjoy uncovering the systems that quietly run your life, subscribe. And the documentary on screen next explains how planned obsolescence is engineered the same way. Because in the end, the machine was never the monopoly. The scarcity was. And scarcity is the one thing a well-aimed idea can destroy.